Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for joining this webinar. We're going to make a start in just 1 minute, just waiting for a few more people to join. So I'm probably going to start introduce myself. So my name is Anne and I work for École Polytechnique. I'm an international marketing and promotion manager. And I'm going to let Céline, Mathieu and Philippe introduce themselves as well.
Thank you, Anne. Hi, I'm Celine, and I work as a third-year officer at the Bachelor program. My role here is to accompany the students in their third year. As you will see later on in a presentation, we do have officers 1 per year, and I'm in the third year, so I'm in charge of following them in their orientation, guiding them, helping them, and hoping that everything goes well with them. And I'll let Mathieu speak then.
Yes, thank you, Céline. I'm Mathieu. I'm a third-year student in the maths and physics double major. Here to talk about the major, the double major for you people interested.
Hello, I'm Philippe. I am second year math and physics student, double major, and I'll talk to you about my experience here at the program.
Thank you very much. So let's make a start then. The first part of the webinar will be our presentation. That's probably going to last between 20 and 30 minutes. And after that, we'll take all your questions. So you'll see that you have a question and answer button on your screen. Please use this. You can ask the question during the presentation, that's no issue, and we'll answer them at the end, obviously. So a few words about École Polytechnique first. For those of you who don't know the university yet, so we are the leading university in science and technology in France, created in 1794, and we are based in Palais d'Eau, which is a small town about 20 kilometers south of Paris. There are about 3,600 students in total. 40% of them are international students. And we have different programs ranging from undergraduate programs, so the bachelor we're going to talk about today, but we also have an engineering program and some masters and PhDs. Now, an overview of the bachelor program. Céline, do you want to take this one?
Sure, no problem. So indeed, the Bachelor program is a multidisciplinary scientific program, and therefore you're going to start in the first year with something very general, where you're going to try all the different majors that are available to you in the second and third year. So as you can see, there are 3 double majors. You probably already know this, and today we're going to speak in more particularly about the mathematics and physics double major. As you can see, we are a quite selective program. We are taking talents, the best students, and also the most motivated student. That's probably the most important. Of course, it's totally taught in English, and French classes for non-Francophone students are mandatory. So you'll end your bachelor with a good level of French as well. And the Bachelor of Science is research oriented, okay? Most of our students move on to pursue student masters in research oriented masters, all right? But because École Polytechnique is very special, we also have at the core of our teaching, humanities and social science, but sports, which is pretty much in the DNA of our school. And I do believe this is pretty much everything to sum up really what the program is.
Also, if you're interested as well in the double major math and computer science and math and economics, we have 2 webinars coming in the coming month. So, register to those as well if you want to know a little bit more about those double majors. Let's move on to year 2 courses dedicated to the math and physics.
All right, so indeed, as I told you, in the first year, you're going to be able to try the different majors. And once you get into the second year, now you're really specialized into your double major. There's always a lot of maths, and there's always your second major. Obviously, the best ones to speak about those courses are going to be the students. So I'm probably going to ask Matthew and Philip what they think are the best courses, the one they enjoy the most, the one they have actually really liked, and the one they find maybe the most challenging. Matthew, what would you say your favorite courses are, and could you tell us a little bit more about those courses?
Yeah, of course. So like the courses which I found most interesting were the courses of the algebra course. So Euclidean and Hermitian spaces, you can see in semester 3 there. And the reason I really enjoyed this course in math is because, well, so I'm in a maths and physics double major. And what's really interesting is how something which might look like really theoretical maths actually has direct uses, for example, in quantum physics. I found it very, very interesting and driving to see how, well, we do maths and physics, but the two are intertwined and we use what we see in one for the other.
Mm-hmm. Of course. And also, maybe I forgot to mention, but as you can realize, you do have different options within your double major, and you may take a minor in biology or in chemistry. Maybe you, Philip, have you got a minor, or Mathieu, have you got one of those minors? Philip?
I have not chosen any minor, but I have chosen a lot of different physics courses.
Right, that's right. And also you have access, as you can see, to a little bit of computer science, object-oriented programming in C++, which is always interesting. What about you, Philip? What would you say are the most relevant courses in the double major, or well, not the most relevant, but the most interesting ones in the double major math and physics?
Well, for me, the most interesting one was the applied physics in the first year. And the reason is because it is a real engineering course. We took a lot of concepts we already learned in physics, and we applied them to the real problems. So, for example, few classes we only do like rocket science, and then few classes we talk about the optics and diffraction and using it to build how it is used to solve some real problems. And for example, in mathematics, my favorite course was the analysis in the first year, and it was probably the most challenging course. So we had it was good because it was very flexible. We had some number of exercises we had to solve, but also we had a lot of additional material we could use if we want. And it was very well taught. It got us really strong in that subject.
Okay, thank you very much. And as I mentioned earlier as well, you do have mandatory languages. So for non-Francophones, it's going to be French. And for those who are already Francophone, you've got an array of different languages. The catalog changes from time to time, so I can't list all of them. There's quite a range of languages to be taken here. Sports are mandatory. It is part of the DNA of the school. And we also have personal development, which is going to help you develop soft skills and sort of help you in your everyday life as well.
I think, for example, in year 2, there is a speech contest.
For example, in year 2, there is a speech contest. In year 1, personal development included things like transitioning from high school to university life. And there's also meetings with professionals in the personal development. Did you take some personal development courses, Philip, for example?
Yeah, I took personal development courses. It was very useful last semester that we had the opportunity to interview the professional in the field we're interested in and learn how the procedure usually goes.
Good. What about you, Matthew? Which ones did you do?
So I took the personal development in first year for the transition from high school to university. And well, I did struggle a little at the beginning of first year to actually transition and sort of be left on my own with teachers telling me, well, okay, here's your lecture, now work on it. And so this course did help in knowing, for example, well, okay, I need at this time of this day to work on this lecture to be up to date constantly. which it is key really if you want to succeed.
Okay, thank you very much.
Let's move on to year 3 now.
Yes, year 3. And year 3 is a very special year because you've got several things happening there. There are many things happening in year 3. First of all, in semester 5, the fall semester, you can go on an exchange semester with our partner universities. We're going to speak about them a little bit later on in the presentation. Anne, I'm right?
Yes.
Yes. And so you got the option, or you got the option to stay here. So here are the courses in semester 5 that we've got here. And in semester 6, there's the bachelor thesis. And again, we'll come back onto this later on in the presentation. And the bachelor thesis is a research internship of at least 8 weeks within a lab at École Polytechnique or in a partner institution. And so, yes, so far we haven't had any of our students here present with us who have done the courses in semester 6, but I can already tell you that semester 5 is a challenging semester. Mathieu, can you tell us about your experience of semester 5? What are you doing, exchange semester or staying at LEAKS?
Yes, so I was meant to go in at the University of Toronto this semester. Unfortunately, due to the COVID crisis, Toronto canceled the exchange.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, well, I stayed here in Polytechnique. However, something that was very, very appreciated was so we were offered the possibility to drop up to 2 courses for a personal project. Because indeed this exchange semester is one where you can really choose which courses you want to do in other universities. For example, if you plan on doing some engineering, maybe you can do courses which are more specialized in engineering. And so when this sort of how the program was changed and adapted to our situation made it possible, even though the exchange unfortunately was canceled. But it is pleasant to have some flexibility in the program.
Indeed, we did introduce some flexibility. However, these are exceptional times, and it was, of course, an exceptional measure. We do not know whether we would be able to renew this kind of measure, but indeed, we had to adapt just like everybody else around the world. Some exchanges were maintained. I mean, we had some students who went to King's College. Some of those are at EPFL right now, some of those at ETHZ. And of course, we felt really sorry for the students who could not go on their exchange, but we're very happy to have them here.
So now this is the list of the partners in 2020.
That's right. So the double majors math and physics has got lots of opportunities for the exchange semester. As I was telling you, some students went to ETH, some of the EPFL, others in King's College, and some of our exchanges were cancelled this year, but the previous class went to Toronto, they went to DTU as well, they went to Hong Kong, Dalhousie, and they all felt that this experience was fantastic because it allowed them to see other methods of teaching, it allowed them to take other courses that you don't necessarily have at LEAKS, and also it allowed them to broaden their minds and maybe find the right university for them for their masters. So it is something that is generally quite appreciated, the exchange semester. About 2/3 of our students go, but it's absolutely fine to stay at LEAKS for the semester 5. And I do believe also the people who stayed for semester 5 are really appreciating the smaller classes that you have. And so they have like a lot of interaction with the professors. It's already the case in normal times. I mean, we have quite small classes, but in semester 5, it's even better.
Philippe, do you already know where you'd like to go?
I'm planning to go to the ETH Zurich or King's College for the exchange, and also I'll probably apply for University of Toronto. But we still have some time to decide for it.
Yes, of course.
Absolutely. The process to apply starts now. So Philip, being at the beginning of second year, is already starting planning for his third year.
Mathieu, did you want to say something before?
Yes, it was to come back on what Celine said about the courses in semester 5 and having the small classes, is that indeed this semester abroad is optional, and you always have the option to stay here in Polytechnique, which, well, I found good because the courses we have are courses as if this exchange semester did not exist. Which means that even if you decide to stay in Polytechnique, you will still have a really good semester with really interesting courses to deepen your knowledge in the various subjects we're studying.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mathieu.
Let's move on now to the bachelor thesis.
Of course, so far we haven't had a student who's done their bachelor thesis, but you do have here a couple of examples of bachelor thesis that were done by the previous class. So as I was saying, the bachelor thesis is this amazing opportunity to spend at least 8 weeks in a lab, either here at École Polytechnique or in some other institutions. Some students did their bachelor thesis abroad in other universities. And it can last up to 12 weeks. And it's a dedicated research project in which you have to write a report and do a defense. And so, for example, as you can see in physics, we've got lots of laboratories around, and the subjects are quite varied. Studying laser matter interaction, the impact of climate change, polymer networks, and detecting neutrino events in neutron emissions. It's quite fascinating. I wonder, Mathieu, do you already know what bachelor thesis you're going to undertake?
So yes, I'm currently in the time of choosing my bachelor thesis. So I don't know yet whether I want to do mechanical engineering or particle physics, which means that I'm still hesitating between either for my thesis. However, with the vast number of labs we have on campus, should it be in the other schools on campus or just because École Polytechnique has so many labs in physics, it was really easy to find a thesis which interests me. For example, just going to see teachers you have in first and second year, or prospective teachers you'll have in the future. Going to them, they know the program. So if you go, hello, I'm a third year student, I'm looking for a bachelor thesis, they will most likely help you and tell you, okay, well, in my lab, this person doing this might be interested by the project you want to do. So it is very easy to find something really, really interesting and what you want to do in the future.
All right, thank you. I guess, Philip, you haven't started thinking about your bachelor thesis, but maybe you have.
Well, I'm still second year and I still have a lot of time for the bachelor thesis. Still have some ideas, but it will probably change until I see all the courses and everything.
Of course, you've got plenty of time to think about it. Indeed, looking for a bachelor thesis starts at the beginning of year 3. And as Mathieu was saying, you can have a lot of interactions with the professors since you are quite small classes, and therefore they're very aware that this is a mandatory part of semester 6, and they will always redirect you towards their colleagues in the fields that actually interest you. Thank you.
Students can then, so we have, as Mathieu said, we have a number of labs on campus. And this is a few of them, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And have you done, boys, have you done some internships maybe there or some projects? Do you know some of those labs and you could tell us a little bit more about them? Philip, maybe?
I have visited the part with atmospheric physics. I've talked to my tutorial assistant, and I have been able to talk with people who work there. And about the internship, I have conducted an internship, not here, but in Serbia. I found the institution for physics. And the good thing is that even though it is not mandatory, the school is really encouraging internships. And I'm going to do the presentation about it. I'm going to get the feedback. I got mentor for it?
Absolutely. What Philip is talking about is that our students during the summer are quite eager to do some internships, and they can, but it's not mandatory at all. You can also take your summer to enjoy your holidays. But a lot of them, because they're very dedicated to, and they're very passionate about their fields, tend to pursue internships. So sometimes it's in our labs, sometimes it's elsewhere, sometimes it's also industry. But it's true that for the physics department, there are quite a lot of labs to be taken as a possible location for internships.
Yes, I also did an internship this summer. It was in INRIA, which is actually a computer science lab we have on campus. However, they have a team that works with the LMS, which is the solid mechanics lab. So I contacted one of the mechanics teacher and told him I would be really interested by this internship. And so he helped me find it. So that was really interesting. And I'm also doing the project I'm doing to, instead of going abroad, is an internship in the particle and astrophysics lab, so LLR. So again, I contacted one of our teachers saying, hello, I'm really interested by this lab. Would you know of anyone who would be interested in such context of taking me as an intern? I found it, and I mean, I've been working every Monday on it since the beginning of the year, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really happy. It was so easy to find such a good internship.
Good.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what you're doing on this project, the lab?
Yes, so it was, I'm in a team of researchers at LLR, which work on a captor to monitor proton beams for proton therapy against tumors. And so, well, I find it really driving because they told me, okay, well, we trust you. We would like you to do this, to design this monitor. Go ahead, design it however you want. We'll just help you and see how you're doing from time to time. But I am really free of going a bit in my own way and in something really that I can see happening and that will get in use in the future, which is, I mean, that's why I want to do physics.
Brilliant, thank you.
And now, so what to do after your bachelor's in math and physics? So we had the first class who graduated in last July. So I'm going to let Céline speak a little bit more, a little bit more about that.
Of course, our first class, we're very proud of our first class as they landed, and we're definitely hoping and confident that the next ones are going to do just as well. We have students in the double major math and physics. We've had a lot of students pursuing in physics, in definitely in research-oriented masters. As you can see, we've got one student who got admitted and who went to MIT for a PhD track. In ETH Zurich, we've got students doing masters in physics or masters in energy sciences. In TUM, one who did master in quantum science technology, and quite a lot as well. A couple of them stayed at Institut Polytechnique de Paris. I guess they were quite well here and they were quite happy to pursue physics in our school. Indeed, there's a wide range of possibilities after the double major math and physics, but a lot of our students are true physicists and definitely stay for masters in physics and definitely pursue in this field.
A little bit more about the international and multicultural aspect of the bachelor. We mentioned it at the beginning of the presentation, but you know, to tell a little bit more about it. So it's very much an international class profile, with obviously the courses are taught 100% in English. We do have, as Céline said, we do have French courses for non-French speakers. And we've put here the last figures for the class of 2023. So these are the students who just joined us for the first year. 30% 33% of female students, which is absolutely great for scientific studies. Our students come from 37 different countries with 8% of international and dual national students. So we're really happy with that. Do you guys want to talk, Philip, where do you come from?
I come from Serbia. So there is, I found out about the school from my friends from my high school. There were only 2 of them. And now again, there are 2 of us came here. And yeah, it is pretty international. You can see people from all around the world, all the continents, meet all the different cultures.
Matthew, about you?
Yes, so both my parents are French. However, I grew up in France, Portugal, and Ireland. And in fact, I was very, very surprised and in a good way of realizing that this profile is actually quite common. And seeing people who grew up in different countries, or at least countries far away, many of them, it is the case for many of us. And I found it really interesting to, well, realize how different cultures which you thought might be similar were. Should it just be in Europe, and how, for example, in Western and Eastern Europe, the cultures are different, or just knowing more about Asia, because I really did not know about Asian culture before, and just learning about this and discussing with people from different horizons is just very driving and very pleasing, and allows for endless conversations, which I really love having.
Thank you. A slide about life on campus. I'm probably going to let you, Matthew and Philippe, talk about this as well. Can you explain a little bit what's law, for example, and the difference in a student club?
Yes. So the LOR is the student association, which organizes life as a bachelor student in the Bachelor, as well as giving a link between the Bachelor and the student organization for the cycle ingénieur, and also the master students, which allows to also meet people from different programs, which is really, I mean, it would be a pity not to, with all those different profiles here. So they organize, the LOR organizes committees, which are student clubs, which are for bachelor students exclusively. And as I said, the student organization for the ingénieur polytechnicien, so which is the classical program after 2 years in prépa. They have binets, which are just student clubs with a fancy name. And there are a lot of them. And you can really think of, I don't know, any dish you might want to eat. Well, there is probably a binet that could prepare it in an event. And it's really, you can really choose to do extracurricular activities, and whatever you want to do, you'll probably find someone interested as well.
Yeah, and for example, I'm non-Francophone student, and it is easy to integrate with engineers. They are willing to speak English. You can join any binet you'd like. And yeah, as Matthew said, there's really a lot of them. There is about astronomy. There are dancing binets, committees. There's binet just for sushi, for example. And also about students' life and sports. We have our coaches who organize sports for every week. Like, for example, on Monday we have football, on Thursday we have basketball or gym, and they coach us. And now it is we don't have it because of COVID, but in normal situation, it is really common. There's always something to do on the campus. It's really various, the student life.
And also what's really good about our campus, it is a bit far from Paris. However, you can easily go to Paris with 40 minutes in a train. You go directly there. But what's so good about being a bit far from Paris is that the campus is huge. And there are so many sports you can do on campus. Should it be during sports classes, just organizing with friends through student organizations, or as Philippe said, the coaches organizing sports classes in the evening. And yeah, the sports accommodation make the campus just so much pleasing and just comfortable to live in.
And also housing is available on campus for the bachelor students. And so we have a brand new building, just opened last January.
That's right.
And that's the end of our part, the presentation part. Here is the website. If you want to have a look for more information, you can also find our email addresses. If you have any questions, please feel free to send your questions.